Emotional.
It's
We
setting
close it when we get hot, or you just chuck stuff at people.
and we're still troubleshooting. That's just never going to go away.
That's
Just
never
a
gonna go
fair
away.
warning, the first like 2 to 3 minutes of all of our Facebook lives are just figuring out what we're doing.
Yeah, consider it more of a warm up.
So I don't know about you guys. I've been like so sluggy today. I'm like on my energy drink and my brain is like just not quite snapped there yet. So hopefully things will get better. But welcome world to our chaos. I'm Tunisia. I'm with Brick by Brick Real Estate. We have Megan here. We have Brian, all part of the Brick by Brick team. And today we're going over affordability. So every quarter we are doing different market stats on what's going on. And so last month we had done, I think it was rent versus own. Is that what we had done last month?
I think so.
Yeah.
And we had talked a lot about kind of the benefits of owning your own home. And we kind of ended on the question of like, okay, if I've decided that buying is best for me versus my current rental situation, how do I know what I can afford? How can I know what my options are? And that's what this whole webinar is about. So I'm going to go ahead and pretend I know what I'm doing. And as I like look over here, it's because I have a second screen. So they're like, what is she looking at? All right, Brian, you are now the host. And so he'll be able to share.
I don't know. I'm going to try a button. Does that work?
Still troubleshooting, folks.
Why don't we do this? Okay, share. I click share and I do this. Did that work?
Sharing.
Professionals, we did it.
Yes. Okay. Is it working?
So you can get one on Brian.
You can see I think we're good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
You're growing strong.
Okay.
Tell
This
us
is
what
great.
we're
So-
looking at.
This is the most seamless start ever in our history of Facebook Live events.
We're on a roll.
Must be Tunisia's beverage. Okay. Here's what we're gonna look at affordability, and we're gonna go through a few things to make up what determines that. Everybody's different. You're gonna be different depending on it's a calculation essentially of your income and what your other debt payments are. That kind of dictates it for the most part. Credit is an issue, is a consideration as well as down payment. That will vary a little bit, but of course we customize these for everybody. We don't want to. There's not one size fits all, of course. But here's kind of the way we look at it. So the first thing we look at is let's take, and we're kind of doing this a little bit backwards, but so you can it's easier to understand this way. But if you take and say, all right, the home is worth, let's say if you want to buy a house for $440,977, right? And this is how we figure it. Whenever you make your payment every month, instead of rent where you just make a rent payment every month, your mortgage payment consists of three things really. You've got your principal and interest, you've got your taxes, and that's property taxes, and that's going to be based on every house has its own property tax amount based on what the county says it's going to be. And then you have your homeowner's insurance, which is your fire, theft insurance for the house. And then sometimes we have mortgage insurance. I left it out just to simplify things, but that's what it's going to consist of. So what you basically take is you say, all right, if based on, we'll get to your income here in a second. This is our fictional guy, but if you're allowed about 43%, maybe 45%. In this example, I'm using 43% of your gross monthly income. And there's several ways you can calculate that, but let's just take if you make, in this case, I'll only skip down here, a person who makes $70,000 a year on a salary, let's say, and you have monthly obligations of $500. That would be car payment, student loans, credit card payments, stuff like that.
And question for you, Brian, when we're going
Yes.
through and calculating this, do we include what they're currently paying for rent or as a mortgage?
Great question, Megan. No, your rent payment is you're going to leave, right? You're not going to have rent anymore. So anything you're going to vacate or leave, we're not going to count that.
Okay.
Also, if you have like a car payment, for example, and you plan on paying it off before you buy a house, or even at the same time you're going to buy a house, then we don't have to count that either. So any debts that are going to be gone, we don't have to worry about that. So
Perfect. We have a lot of people are in the boat where they're going to sell their
yeah,
first home that they're living in and move into something a little bigger or something just different. And they can use some of that money to pay off those debts and increase their buying power.
exactly right. And we do that a lot, especially in a market like this where the home values are so healthy, we'll say, right? A lot of people are selling their homes more. We've been through this several times with you guys, is that you do an analysis of the property value, and a lot of people are surprised just how much their house really is worth, right? And so you can use a lot of that equity, meaning the cash that you walk away with at the closing, to pay off some other debt and put you in a much better way. We're doing a lot of transactions now for home buyers who are selling their home, paying off some debt, buying a much nicer home, additional bedroom, additional maybe an office to work out of. We're seeing that a lot nowadays. And their overall outflow every month is actually less because you're able to pay off the car and get those student loans done, get rid of those, and you end up with much better cash flow and a nicer house. So we do that a lot.
One thing that I did want to point out, so I've been working with Brian on creating kind of different tools, and I just remembered that I have all of these that we had built. And so by the end of this, give me about an hour, but I'll go ahead and add a tools section to our website. So that's bbbrealestate.com. We have one that has financial health to be able to go through a quick 5-question survey to be able to self-diagnose where you're at as far as being able to take action in some of these. We also have another one that is affordability. So exactly what we're talking about when Megan had mentioned a debt to income and what goes into it and what to calculate. We have a very simple protocol that you can kind of go through. They're not exact, but it does help get the ball rolling. And like Brian had said at the beginning of this, we can create one of these custom for you. So we don't charge anything for these financial analysis. You don't have to feel like you're committing to anything or doing anything invasive. We don't need to pull your credit. But I think it's awesome to be able to know exactly where you're at, where your goals are, and kind of know exactly what to do from there. And if you want to dive deeper and, have a customized credit repair plan or, put a timeline on for buying a home or these different things, we're definitely there to help hold your hand. But if you're just kind of wanting to know, if you don't know, if you're watching this, you're like, I have no idea, let's talk, because we can definitely help get that blueprint started.
Right. And you'd be surprised. We can run a lot. We'll often run 5, 6, 7 different scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
based on sales price. What if I pay this off? Don't pay this off. I mean, sometimes you don't pay stuff off. It's just better for whatever reason. We can run scenarios till you're blue in the face, and you'll be, I think you'll like it. It's good. We can customize it. So back to plain Jane guy here, right? We got this one, this particular example, pretty simple, right? You got these people, this guy makes $70,000. So they make $70,000. They have $500 in debt, and 43% of that monthly income ends up qualifying them for about $440,000. And that's pretty much it. That's how it works.
That's awesome. So we can take this for any person and say, how much do you make a year? What's your monthly? What does your credit look like? And this is exactly what you can afford.
Correct. And I'm glad you mentioned the credit. We don't have to pull credit. I think most people, if you have Credit Karma or one of those Experian credit services, we can get a really good idea of what your credit's like without pulling it. And you know what your debts are, right? So we do that. We do that probably more often than not, actually. So you don't have to worry about getting an inquiry on your credit. So we do that all the time.
So
Is
Brian,
there ever... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cece.
me first.
Hey, raise your hand, please.
So if this is kind of the introduction of okay, this is what I can afford. Okay, great. What's the next step? Where does this kind of evolve to after this?
The next step is just to give us a call. And we can usually do it on the phone pretty quick. It's about a 15-minute call is all usually. And then we can find out what your goals are. Ultimately, it's what your goals are with timing, with what you feel like your comfortable payment range is. If you have a house to sell, we can find out what you're going to walk away with in cash pretty close. And then just kind of put it all together, and it can just plan A, B, and C usually about 3 options are good. But we can do 20 if you want. I can do these all day. In fact, I love doing these all day. But yeah, the next is just get on the phone. That's the best way to do it.
Brian, what is your number? What is the best number for people to reach you at?
Best number is, we got a new number. Let me give you the brand new number. This is a fresh number.
I don't know what it is.
Ooh, the
Yeah, correct.
newbie.
Okay, this is the best number ever. 801-716-1005.
Ooh.
There it is.
I don't know why it's cool.
And you know what the coolest thing is? Brian texts. So we know sometimes that making these phone calls can be a little bit
Oh,
intimidating.
yes.
And you're
Yes.
thinking, oh, I'm not ready to dive all the way into this. Can I just shoot him a text?
Or I'm just
Yes.
lazy and I don't want to make a phone call.
We can do this all over the text. I've done that. We've done that several times. We've done entire transactions, loans by text only.
It's true. I have clients who are like, I have no clue what Brian's voice sounds like. Like literally the entire.
Correct. Yeah. Like we had a client a couple of years ago, and his wife, my friend of mine, his wife will not speak on the phone. She texts like I've never seen anybody who can type so fast with the thumbs. It was unbelievable. And so I would call, and she would hand the phone to her husband and like basically translate from text. It was pretty funny. But yeah, we can do that. We can do it all by text. We can do the video thing. We can do phone. We can do, I guess, email. There's email still around, right? That's still cool.
Yes.
Cool
Yeah,
thing.
email's cool. Yeah. Right.
Definitely. And so kind of the process, kind of from start to finish. So the marriage between what Brian does and what we do with Brick is, once we have these numbers and have an idea, that is kind of the turning point for us to be able to start looking at what's on the market, what fits your needs. We create you an account on our MLS account, which is all the listings in Utah, to be able to pinpoint, okay, we want to see homes within this price range that have this many bedrooms, bathrooms, kind of meeting your needs on that front. And so between, like I had mentioned before, bbbrealestate.com, we have 1,000 contact forms on different pages that you can click and find us on. And whether you're coming to us first or Brian first, we'd love to work with you. Megan, I had rudely cut you off earlier today. Did you have one other question?
One of the questions I had as we were talking about like having these conversations with Brian of what goes into this affordability, is there any time that people, you're talking to them and you're like, oh yeah, what are your monthly payments? Is there something that's commonly forgotten when people are listing these things off to you, Brian?
Yeah. As far as like debts they have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, one of the things we see a lot of right now is student loans. So student loans are across the board are all in forbearance automatically because of the CARES Act. It's the gift of COVID, you know. So the federal government put all student loans on forbearance. Well, all government student loans, which is most of them. So a lot of times people will say, and I'll ask, what are your student loans? Do you have any student loans? Yes, but they're in forbearance. Then I need to know the balances. And we can use a percentage of that in lieu of, obviously there's no payment being reported to the credit report. So we do that. But you know, people usually know their car payments and, you know, basic credit card balances for the most part. It's usually not too bad. We just want to make sure we ask the right questions and be thorough, you know, so we don't have to pull your credit if you don't want to. You don't have to mess with that for the first phone call. But yeah, we can get that.
Awesome. And we did actually. So me and Tanisha had a meeting this morning with our title guy, and he brought up a question that he's been getting a lot, which was, can I use cryptocurrency towards my home purchase? Which I hadn't had someone bring up to us before, but I'm sure it is going to come to light. And the answer was, it does need to be converted into cash before it can be used towards your home purchase.
Yeah, that's a very hot topic right now, especially with those people who bought Bitcoin for 1/3 of a cent, whatever it was. So yeah, we run across this a lot more now. And the answer to your question, and yeah, it's basically like a stock that you need to convert to cash. There are some loan programs that to this day absolutely prohibit any kind of cryptocurrency history at all. That's very quickly going away. The normal loans, though, your conventional loans, FHA doesn't like it, but we kind of have a workaround there. But it's becoming more common. You know, I mean, even a year ago, cryptocurrency was not. I didn't hear much about it. But now everybody in these Robinhood and what's the other one account? I mean, you can just buy crypto, right? Like you buy, you know, Apple stock, right? So yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, but we can deal with that. For
So
sure.
while seeing, unless if there's any other FAQs, Brian, are you able to open a browser really quick?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you go to our website really quick? Break by Brick Real Estate, or BBB, 3Bs. There you go. So I just added this. It's at the very top menu. It's called Financial Tools. So go
Whoa.
ahead and cover that. So we have affordability and then financial help. Go ahead and click on that top one.
Affordability.
Yes, sir. So this is kind of exactly what we just talked about. You know, what's in your budget? There's this getting started. It's 5 questions if you scroll down a little bit more. And go ahead and cycle through the carousel in that top section.
I don't know what a carousel is.
That white thing that says getting started in the middle.
Getting started. Okay, I got you. I'm down. Oh, I got you. So I click the doodads. What do I click? Oh, wait. Nothing's working.
I think your thing just closed it. But if you click through here, these are the questions that are going to help kind of figure out, okay, what's your income? Where are things going? It's breaking.
Dude.
Oh no.
Just hit.
Hey.
Okay. We'll refresh later.
We'll figure it out.
But anyways, if you scroll to the bottom, there's a screenshot of the exact same form that we just went over.
There we go. Yes.
So you can be able to see exactly kind of where you're at, where you're hoping to be. The other one with financial help kind of dives into different things as well. But these are now active and live, so check them out. If you have questions, contact us.
Beautiful.
But again, Brian, thank you for your time. Megan as well. Is there anything else that we should talk about? What's our next quarter's topic? Or next quarter, next month?
Next quarter. I don't think I have that right here. I'm going to be popping it up on our Facebook. So if you want to check our Facebook events, we're at BBB Real Estate on Facebook, and go to our events. We'll have all of our events there, which will include next quarter's topic, and check out our Easter egg coming up next month too.
Yes. So for April, I just pulled it up. We have cost of waiting. In May, we're going to be talking about forecasting. And then in June, we've got rent versus own again. So what's really awesome about these 4 topics as we rotate them each quarter is you're able to get a snapshot in time right now, as well as we have a history of what things have been like in the past. And the longer that history is, the more we'll be able to project what will be into the future. So pretty exciting. Brian, we're going to leave you on your own again.
Oh man, no, I can handle it. I'm not even worried.
You were a pro last time. You're only like closing for a good 2 seconds before it ended. So.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Oh.
Got this. We got this. All right.
Okay. All
You
right.
guys.
Ready.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.